Hello, it's so nice to finally meet you. Yeah, I've been looking forward to this. I understand that Robert spoke with you. Okay, great. Yeah, I've known Robert for years. We went to college together. So I understand that you're going to be making a movie, and you're playing a woman with a southern accent. Okay, yeah, that's what he told me. Um, do you know about where this person might be from? Oh, that's perfect because that's where I grew up. Okay, great. Uh, yeah, he told me. He told me you were a little nervous about it. You don't need to be nervous. What I would like to do is, I would like for you to listen to me talk and just try to get a feel for the way it sounds. Uh, and we will go over some specifics about Southern accents in movies and TV. Uh, First, I would like to read something to you. I printed this out. This is from Wikipedia, and just a little information about Southern American English. And I'm not going to read the whole thing. I just mainly want you to listen to the way I speak and the way I pronounce certain words, and just to get the essence of the accent. Okay, and there are different Southern accents. There's not just one Southern accent. There are lots of different ones, and depending on where you go in the South, you will hear words and things pronounced differently. But it's perfect that your character's from my area, so just for now, just listen. You don't really have to pay attention to what I'm saying. Just listen to how I say it. Okay. All right. Southern American English. Southern American English, or Southern U.S. English, is a collection of related American English dialects spoken throughout the southern United States, though increasingly in more rural areas and primarily by white Americans. Commonly in the United States, the dialects are referred together simply as Southern. Other much more recent ethnolectal terms include Southern White Vernacular English and Rural White Southern English. I did want to stop here. I actually want to ask you a question. Do you know if your character is more, there really is no nice way to say this, is she more country, or is she more refined? Like maybe she works in an office or a professional environment, in which case she may speak like this. Or if she's from the country and she maybe lives a little different lifestyle, she might talk a little different. She might sound more like this. Okay, she works in an office. Okay. All right. So, well, a phrase I use, I church it up. I church it up, which means I make it a little more distinct, a little easier to understand. I don't have that drawl quite as bad. So we'll stick with that. We won't get into really twangy Southern. All right. The Southern U.S. dialects make up the largest accent group in the United States. From the southern extremities of Ohio, Indiana, Maryland, and Delaware, as well as most of West Virginia and Kentucky to the Gulf Coast, and from the southern Atlantic coast extending to most of Texas and Oklahoma, and the far eastern section of New Mexico. Southern American English can be divided into several regional dialects and subdialects. African American Vernacular English has common points with the Southern dialects due to the strong historical ties of African Americans to the region. Okay. And again, I just want you to listen to the rhythm and the words and the sounds. Not so much what I'm saying, I just want you to hear the way I say it. Okay. Geography. The dialects commonly known as Southern American English stretch across the southeastern and south-central United States, but exclude the southernmost areas of Florida and the extreme western and southwestern parts of Texas, as well as the Rio Grande Valley, Laredo to Brownsville. This linguistic region includes Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, Louisiana, and Arkansas, as well as most of Texas, Virginia, Kentucky, as well as most of Texas, Virginia, Kentucky, Oklahoma, West Virginia, and northern and central Florida. Southern American English dialects can also be found in extreme southern parts of Missouri, Maryland, Delaware, and Illinois. Southern dialects originated in large part from a mix of immigrants from the British Isles who moved to the South in the 17th and 18th centuries, and the Creole or post Creole speech of African slaves. Upheavals such as the Great Depression, the Dust Bowl, and World War II caused mass migrations to those and other settlers throughout the United States. Older phonology. Older or traditional Southern speech here collectively refers to the sound systems heard in the South generally before World War II. Some older Southern dialects or features persist today, though typically in very localized populations. The following pronunciation features are very generally characteristic of older Southern as a whole. Lack of yod dropping. Pairs like do, D-O, and do, D-U-E, or tune, T-O-O-N, and tune, T-U-N-E, are distinct because words like do, lute, new, etc. historically contained a diphthong similar to u, like the Y-O-U, U sound in cute or puny. In this area, D-O would be pronounced do, D-U-E would be pronounced dew, dew. Tune, T-O-O-N, would be pronounced tune. T-U-N-E would be, possibly could be pronounced more like tune, tune, like there's an E-W in there, tune. Let's see. Only the Southern speakers who make a distinction today use a diphthong in such words. They further report that speakers with a distinction are found primarily in North Carolina and southwest South Carolina and in a corridor extending from Jackson to Tallahassee. For most of the South, this feature began disappearing after World War II. Okay, I think that's good for now. All right. So, did you hear anything that really stood out to you? Anything in particular that sounded Southern? Do and do, do and do. Yeah. And some of the I's that you might pronounce as a short I, I would pronounce as a long I, but not all. And we'll get into that. So I'm going to set this aside, and you're free to take this with you if you like. What I would like to do now is I'm going to show you a word, and I would like you to tell me how you would pronounce it. Just the first thing that comes to mind. Don't overthink it. Just tell me how you think you would pronounce this word. And that's how most people who are not from the South pronounce it, and that's okay. It's okay. And this is, when you think of the South, this is probably one of the first words that comes to mind. And I don't know if your character would use this word or not. Have you have not seen this script? Okay. But I would be willing to bet that you probably will. Some writers, especially writers who are not from the South, in my opinion, overuse this word a little bit, but that's just my opinion. Now I'm going to show you the phonetic spelling the way I think. If I had to write out the way I pronounce the word, I'll show you what it would look like. Now, can you say this for me? Can you pronounce this? That's good. Okay. Now take a look. Y'all, y'all, y'all. Okay. What I would like to do is do a little exercise with you, if you don't mind. First, take a deep breath and let it out. All right. Now, I'd like for you to relax your jaw. Just relax. Okay. Just let it go and say, y'all, y'all. You pretty much drop the L for the most part. You just drop it. Y'all. Do you mind if I? Okay. I would like to feel right here, your jaw. All right. Can you say it for me? Okay. Just relax. Just relax. Relax your muscles in your face and in your jaw. So can you say it one more time? Okay, good. Y'all. Right. Now feel your neck. you say it again? Hmm. That's better. Just let it all go. Just say y'all. Because one thing I find, a lot of people tense up when they have to speak in a manner that's not familiar. I would be the same. You know, if I had to speak like you, if I had to try to adopt your accent and make it sound natural, I'd be nervous. I'd be tense, and I would have the same problem, and you would have to do this for me. Now I'm going to show you another thing. I would like for you to tell me how you'd say this. Okay? All of y'all. And you would separate the words, right? Most people would. And that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to show you how I would pronounce it. All y'all. All y'all. And you would run it together. All y'all. You just let it roll out. All y'all. All y'all. Yeah, that's good. All y'all. Now let's try that exercise again. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna hold your jaw. Okay. If you would, just let me hear you one more time. Let me hear you say all of y'all. Okay. Well, that's excellent. All of y'all. Very good. Very good. That's great. All right. One more. It's the same as y'all with an S. And this would be possessive. Y'alls. And I'll talk to you a little bit about this in just a minute. Y'alls. And this is when you're referring to something that belongs to at least two people. Y'alls. Very good. And I will show you I tried to spell it out in a way that looks sort of like how I would pronounce it. Y'alls. Y'alls. You just learn to you just round your mouth a little bit and say y'alls. Y'alls. I would like to talk to you a little bit about the word y'all. It's a little more complicated than a lot of people think. When it comes to y'all, one mistake I hear in a lot of movies and TV shows is that they have the characters, and when they're speaking to one person, they say y'all. When the truth is, really, if you're speaking to one person, the only time you would ever refer to them as y'all is when it's understood or implied that you're speaking about more than one person. Like, say if I saw somebody in the parking lot and I knew their wife, I might say, are y'all going to the cookout this weekend? Well, I don't mean just that man. I mean the man and his wife. I mean, are y'all, not just him. If I just saw one person and it was understood that I was only talking about that person, I'd say, are you going to the cookout? You. We'll get into you too. Y-O-U. I pronounce it differently. So the only time you would ever use y'all is if you're speaking to a group of people, or two or more, or if you're speaking to one person but it's understood that you mean that person and another person. If you're speaking to someone and you mean yourself and that person, you'd say we. You wouldn't say y'all. Not if it's only referring to that person and yourself. You would say we, not y'all. So if you're ever speaking to one person only about one person, you would say you. And all of y'all would be if you were speaking to a group of people or speaking to one person about that person in a group, you could say all of y'all. More than likely for me, I would say you all. And if I'm speaking to a group, I would probably still just say y'all. I would have to shout over the group possibly, but I would probably just say y'all, come on. Y'alls. if I say I saw somebody in the parking lot and they had a new car, and I knew that they were married, and it's understood that I don't mean just them. I'd say, is that y'all's new car? That y'all, and then it sounds like a ch is in there. You sort of run the that and the y'all together, and it becomes that y'all. Is that y'all's new car? I would say that, meaning it's yours and your spouse's or whoever. But if I just saw one person and they were single, I would say, is that your new car? I like your new car. Your Y-E-R. I like your new car. And the way you pronounce Y-O-U. How would you say Y-O-U? All right. In the South, pronounce it like this. Y-E-W. You. You. So what you have to do, you have to kind of push your lips up a little bit. You. Like that. I know it's silly. It's silly. To relax your face, sometimes it helps to think of something funny. It just sort of makes you smile, makes you let go of that tension. So, if I can, okay, say you. I know, trust me. I know it's silly, but don't worry about it. You're going to be glad. You. Okay, I'm going to get close so I can hear. Can you say you? Oh, it's very good. You. Yeah, that's good. Relax your shoulders. Relax your neck. That's very good. Yes. Just relax. Just, there you go. There's some tension in your shoulders. Take a breath. Okay. Say you. You. Very good. Very good. All right. Do you have any questions? Do you know of any other details about your character? Okay. So she works in an office. All right. So we won't get into the twang, but I would like to point out something. When you're reading the script, do you know who wrote the script? Okay, I'm not familiar with that person. When you pronounce certain words like L-I-G-H-T, how do you think a southerner would say L-I-G-H-T? Light. And in some places you would be right. But in the area where your character's from and where I'm from, we would say light. Light. Night. Fright. Sight. We wouldn't say night and light and fright. And it seems like in a lot of movies they have us all sounding like Rhett and Scarlett from Gone with the Wind. We're all, well, I declare. And the truth is, most Southerners don't talk like that. The only time I would ever say I declare would be if I was just being funny and just trying to sound like somebody from Gone with the Wind, but I would never say that. And in this area, you don't say good night, you'd say good night. So if they try to get you to say good night, you can tell them that you have it on good authority that this character, if she came from this area, would never say good night. She would say good night. Good night. And you don't really have to pronounce the T. You can say good night and just leave the T off. Turn off the light. Night light. We wouldn't say night light. So it's kind of hard to talk about your own accent because to me, I don't really hear it. Other people hear it, but I don't hear it so much. Okay. Well, don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. In fact, if you would like, we can get together after you get the script and we can go over it together and discuss the way you pronounce different words and things. Okay? That'd be great. I would love to do that. And I would like to say it has been an honor meeting you, and I really have enjoyed your work. I saw you in that. That was great. And I've seen that too. And I think you're just wonderful. And it is such a pleasure to meet you and to work with you. And I wish you the best of luck. And just let me know, and I'll be happy to help you some more if you would like. Okay, thank you again.